you know, these guys on this number 6 Conway Freight Ford F-150 have been working extremely hard, and I hope their work pays off here one of these days for them.
I hope so too. Colin Brown getting in his 6 truck, ready to roll out. Let's go back to the other end with Adam.
And Todd Bodine, the guy everyone's chasing right now, Ray. Pretty solid lap. Did you get all of it?
Well, I told Ray before, you know, I was lifting just a little tiny bit in practice, just a little, not all the way, just a little bit. The first lap we went through 1 and 2 without lifting, and I tried it going into 3, and it went down in there and turned sideways, so I had to get off the gas. So the first lap was the same as second lap. Otherwise, it'd been a lot faster, but that was good laps. I'll take it.
He's quickest right now.
23:47, the mark that they're shooting for. Kevin Lepage on the racetrack for his qualifying effort. 24.826 on lap number 1 for Kevin.
Kevin's, I think, just going to do one and done here, so he will take that first lap.
6 quickest for Kevin Lepage.
I think the racetrack
again,
could have a lot of grip in it, but we'll see here in just a little bit.
Todd said he wiggled a little bit and had to back out just a little bit. Any concerns from the driver's standpoint when the weather is a little misty like this?
Whenever I qualify, whether it's great weather or bad weather, it scares the heck out of me.
And the hammer is always down when Mike Skinner behind the wheel. Guys,
Mike's only got about 912 poles in this series.
he starts up front about every other race.
Sure seems like it.
Johnny Chapman has to catch it in the 21.
Stock car steel on board the side of that truck.
It's a good looking truck. You can see the difference in the nose of that one. It's right down on the ground. We've seen other trucks with their noses all hiked up. Just different philosophies, different ways to try to make your truck go faster on this mile track.
Let's take a look at this big wiggle over here in 3 and 4. You see Johnny gets down in the corner. You see the back of that truck bouncing a little bit, and then he gets a little bit sideways, has to chase it up the hill. Does a nice job corralling that thing.
Good looking truck.
Let's head back down to pit road and Adam Alexander.
When David Starr climbed from his truck, you said you got.
Welcome back. Qualifying continuing for the AAA Insurance 200 that we run later on this evening. Brandon Knupp on the racetrack now in the number 47. His first lap, 25.844. That is 22nd quickest of the 22 that have been on the racetrack.
That is so kind, Rick. It's also the slowest.
Well, there's 36 trucks here, and they're vying for 36 spots. So there's really no reason to get out there and go crazy.
Yeah, and you saw the nose of Brandon's truck coming down the straightaway really high. That didn't have as much to do with his speed as his engine just doesn't sound like it's running real good. So he had a couple issues he was dealing with during qualifying.
Adam Alexander, you've got a pretty fast guy down there with you.
Obviously, he's up in 3rd place in the points. What he has to hope is that this track indeed does rubber in, and he's got some options for pit stops. You remember Scott Speed last year here? He just didn't pit when some of the other guys did and drove off to victory. If these tires wear out, then Matt's in trouble starting back there where he's at. But if he's able to get some rubber down on this track, and you've got some options on pit road, then that qualifying run, while he's certainly going to be disappointed down where he is in the 20th spot, it's not a death sentence if the track is able to rubber in. They can have some decisions to make on pit road that can affect the outcome.
Norm Benning now on the racetrack for his qualifying effort. That number 57 Chevy Silverado. Still seeing a little moisture on the cameras as they make their way through the turns.
Norm has become the 24th of 24 trucks now that have qualified.
Y'all are so kind this morning. Norm is the slowest for the people at home that are trying to follow along.
Try to decipher what we're talking about.
And again, there's 36 trucks here. We'll start 36, so no need to go out and push it to the limit that you could damage your equipment and not be able to make it to the green flag.
That's a great point, Rick. And you gotta know who you are and where you are. You gotta know your equipment. You gotta understand. Okay, well, I need to pull a car when I was a kid. Remember that Stock Car Racing Magazine photograph of the 43, the 21, Buddy Baker's car, all poised together? That's how I grew up, watching those guys race.
Wayne Edwards coming off the racetrack. He was 25th quickest in his qualifying.
Of how many?
Well, 25.
Yeah. You know, when you were talking about Martin and racing in 1981, you know, you thought you'd been around a long time. Well, you have been around a long time.
That's a good point.
Let's go back down to Adam Alexander.
And Matt Crafton told Ray
Dunlap.
Well, let's hear from Max Papis. Max, I was wondering, if you were to keep a diary about your first year in NASCAR racing, what would the entry say about Dover, Delaware?
Definitely the fastest racetrack, and I mean, this is like, you know, crazy fast, you know, especially with a truck. You know, it looks like you need to run it close to wide open to be on pole. And to me, it's a learning experience. Every lap I do, I'm happy. You know, when I can drive my Geico truck, it's just awesome. And I'm learning step by step, but let me tell you, tough.
And guys, I think you could put an exclamation part by that point by the learning part. But Max Papis having a lot of fun and always lots and lots of enthusiasm.
You know what's interesting is Max Papis thinks this may be the fastest track he's ever been on. And this is a guy that has an open wheel background that probably has run well over 220 or 30 miles an hour in some of the IndyCar ovals that he's been on. And this is a fast racetrack to him.
Ryan Hackett, 21st fastest in his.
Well, guys, chances are you'll see Dexter Bean all over the map this year, racing in at least 4 different divisions. But how about Camping World Trucks? What brings you over here?
I got to come get some seat time. This is my first truck debut here at Dover. I've never been here to Dover before, so we're getting some good experience, getting some good laps, and just got to thank DGM Racing for giving me the opportunity to come drive one of their Chevrolets and help them out this weekend.
All right, Dexter will be the last truck to roll out. He's in number 12 today on your program. Adam?
And there are plenty.
Cajun Industries Harris Trucking Toyota Tundra was surprisingly fast, and I don't mean that in a bad way. We were decent in race trim, qualifying trim. We weren't quite that good, and crew chief Danny Rollins made some great air pressure adjustments this morning. And unbelievable how much grip this track had this morning. When you're qualifying at Dover on a clear weather day, you're white knuckling it. But when you go out and there's water beating off the windshield and you're virtually running wide open around this place, it's a little hair racing. But I was just impressed with the amount of grip that these Goodyear Wranglers had. Laid down a good lap. Very pleased with it so far.
Phil, Michael, a little driver anxiety today for everybody going out on track.
Yeah, Adam, without a doubt. Terry, you did a nice job in 6th. We're going to take a little tour of New Orleans with Terry and his sponsor, Cajun Industries, and the setup show, so you don't want to miss that. Tune in to Chris Devota, who hosts the setup show at 8 o'clock tonight. That will be exciting setup show for sure.
Yeah, they were very instrumental in rebuilding New Orleans after Katrina, so that will be riveting. You want to stay tuned for that. Just one of the many things that are taking place in the setup with Chris Devota later on this evening. Again, welcome back. AAA Insurance 200 wrapping up on the racetrack now. It's Brent Raymer. Again, just 3 trucks will remain after Brent. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, 24.848.
Brent said that's enough.
29th quickest for Brent. Again, 36 trucks will start. 36 are here to take time.
Loose through the center and golf. Real loose. All the way around.
Brent confirmed that.
Yeah, real loose.
And he knows what real loose is. Remember back at Daytona?
Oh, yeah.
Woo,
coming
he
out
got
of 2.
loose off 2.
Another one of those hard hits.
Right into the safer barrier, but again, walking away from that incident was Brent Raymer. And he will race today later on. Again, that show kicks off at 8 o'clock tonight with Chris Devota. Now on the racetrack, Mario Gosselin, the Canadian, back in the Camping World Truck Series.
And not a hockey player. A race car driver.
Not the hockey player.
He's won a lot of short track late model races all over our country, though, and Canada over the years, hasn't he?
And won, I think he's a 3-time winner in the ARCA Remax Series as well.
You know, his first win came at Lowe's Motor Speedway in his first start. I mean, that's how good this guy is.
It's a pretty good way to get started.
Mario Gosselin coming out of turn number 4 for his first lap of qualifying.
It's another one of the trucks out of the same stable that Dexter Bean's truck is out of, DGM Racing.
And that 7 on it looks remarkably like a 1.
On occasion,
it may have started life as a 1.
On occasion, it has been a 12, but today it's the 72 of Mario Gosselin. Again, he's 31st quickest on his first lap. Probably about ready to take a breath here as he crosses the start-finish line for lap number 2, and picks it up 0.3 of a second, 24.779 for Mario Gosselin, moves him all the way up to 28th quickest.
The next guy's going to probably make a commitment to try to run up toward the top 10. Phil, we hadn't seen a truck in the Go or Go Home group crack the top 20, but Max, he usually qualifies pretty doggone good.
And it's a great idea to have Max here getting some experience, because he will attempt to qualify his Geico Toyota for the Sprint Cup race here on Sunday. I think was it the Autism Speaks 400 on Sunday?
Autism Speaks 400 on Sunday. Fox's last coming out of the same organization. organization. Sure enough, it looks a lot like that 72.
And that one looks nothing like a 7. So.
Dexter Bean will take to the clock now here at the Monster Mile. Our final qualifier for the Camping World Truck Series, AAA Insurance 200, to be run later on this evening.
This is one of the trucks that was purchased from the old Spears Racing team that was one of the originators of the Truck Series back in the mid-90s.
Wayne and Connie Spears, part of the series since its inception. And Dexter Bean, 27th quickest. 24.252 on lap number 1. The final turns of qualifying for the Camping World Truck Series race later on this evening. Where will Dexter Bean start? He was 27th quick on lap number 1. Lap 2, does he pick it up? Well, just a little bit, but it doesn't move him any farther up. He's still 27th quickest, so that means Ron Hornaday Jr. grabs another pole. That's his 21st pole in his 232nd race.